Shogo, how you doing today?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. Now, before we get started, I just want to say congratulations. I saw on your Facebook page that you were chosen for Forbes Japan 30 under 30. That's a huge achievement, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I want to pick your brains today and just see what it actually took for you to be where you are today. I heard that when you were about 19 years old, maybe 18, you completely failed your English listening test on the Senta Shiken. Is that true?
Yeah, it was actually when I was 18 years ago. When I was 18 years old, a lot of Japanese people have to take, Senta Shiken in Japan to get into university. And then, of course, so did I. And then I took all kinds of tests, but the English test was, like disaster. So I was okay about grammar and reading because I studied, hard. But in terms of listening test, I couldn't understand what's going on at all. So I just answered the questions like randomly. So
randomly, really? I'm assuming that, most people at that point, they would think to themselves, English is just not my thing. I can't understand it. Maybe most people would move on from English.
Right.
What did you decide to do?
At the time, I thought I'm going to be a businessman.
I
don't know what the meaning is, but I just thought I'm going to be a businessman. And then I didn't have anything that I think I am good at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Then I thought maybe I can acquire English skills if I studied harder.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I decided to go to the United States. That was in my sophomore year.
Where did you go? Did you come to Los Angeles? Did you come in study abroad in my hometown?
Well, I visited Los Angeles, but Seattle. I went to Seattle, Washington. I went to Bellevue College in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
That was a beautiful place, but it was quite difficult moment for me because when I arrived there, of course, I didn't understand anything. I attended the class and I didn't even realize if I have homework or not.
That's a big problem. Can you kind of walk me through your first couple of months in Seattle, what it was like, school life, friends, who you hung out with?
The first 2 or 3 months, it was quite difficult for me to live in the United States because I couldn't understand what's going on. When I watch TV, when I attend the class, when I talk with people. So it's a tough moment, right? The one thing I decided, and I think it was really, really amazing decision was that I did stick to speaking English. So I never spoke in Japanese, even when I speak with Japanese people, Japanese friends, I met Japanese friends in the morning and they say, "Ohayo, Shogo," or whatever. And I say, "Good morning, how are you doing?" Right? I just kept doing it. So that was the greatest decision I made in the United States. And I think that improved my English really, really well. Absolutely.
They must have thought you were a pretty crazy person then, right?
I think they did.
Yeah.
Even though they think I am crazy, I just kept doing the same thing, responding in English all the time. Then they kind of can realize this guy will not change, right? So I'm not sure when, but maybe in 1 or 2 months, a lot of my Japanese friends actually speak to me in English.
Wow, really?
They change behavior. Of course, they talk in Japanese, when they talk, right? But when they talk to me, they started to talk in English. So that was so amazing. So they helped me a lot.
How did you meet your American friends? How did you become friends with them? Especially for you, because you couldn't speak any English when you went to Seattle. So how did you become friends with people who were living in Seattle?
For the first 1 or 2 months, I often went to Bible study. And so there were so many American people who can teach us, what the Bible is. And that was a great experience for me. I can understand American culture. And also, of course, I can talk with local people in English. And that was a huge, great English study for me. And after that, I think I was a bit crazy, but I was in college all the time. I was in a campus basically on weekdays. So when I ate lunch, I went to cafeteria. They're kind of big cafeteria. A lot of people are eating lunch, talking with friends. But I always went there alone and spoke to and find a candidate and talk to them and then just say, hey, how are you doing? And they responded to me very kindly. Everybody.
Wow.
That was very surprising, but everybody actually responded to me very, very kindly. And then I said, can I sit next to you? And I am a student from Japan, and I'm learning English. So if you're okay, why don't we have a lunch together? And everybody said yes. That was so amazing. Yeah, I think I did that thing almost every day.
Shogo, you are crazy. That's what it kind of comes down to. So you went to the cafeteria every single day by yourself. You would just find a random person, sit next to them and be like, hey, nice to meet you. My name is Shogo. I'm a student from Japan. Can I sit next to you? And you would just spark a conversation like that.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter if it was a guy or a girl, you would approach them.
It didn't matter.
Because if you were a girl, you must be thinking like, oh no, this guy is trying to hit on me right now.
But it's okay, right?
But it doesn't matter.
It didn't matter, yeah.
Wow. And did you actually become friends with these people that you met at the cafeteria?
Yeah, not everybody, but some of them. Yeah, some of them we went out. We went shopping together. We went to dinner together. Yeah, and I was invited to their home party.
That is amazing though, and that's really a lesson that we all need to learn. Is sometimes you think that if you go abroad, you can speak English all the time, right? It just comes naturally. But the truth is, it doesn't work like that. You're not going to be walking on the street and American people are going to come up to you and just start talking to you. You have to be crazy like Shogo. You have to be the one initiating the conversation. You have to be the one approaching people, right?
Yeah, that's what I strongly believe. I am not so crazy person in Japan. I guess that's what I am thinking about myself. But when I was in the United States, I'm sure that I was crazy. I cannot be friend with him. So, but it was really, really amazing. It was good. If I were not crazy at the time, I am not sure if I can speak English like that. If you are a bit crazy and talk to people, strangers, 24 hours is your study time.
Every person has a barrier that they have to overcome when it comes to learning a language. It's something that kind of holds them back. For example, some people are perfectionists. So if they can't say things perfectly, they shut down. They get a little bit quiet. They worry a little bit that maybe my English is not good enough. Maybe for some people, they have a really difficult time listening. Maybe for some people, confidence is an issue. Everybody has a different barrier that they have to overcome in order to become a good English speaker. What do you think your biggest barrier was? What do you think was holding you back to become the speaker you are today?
I joined McKinsey & Company. I worked with so many smart people. I felt like everybody's much smarter than me. But I had to work, of course. I was a professional. So as a professional, I just cannot say they're smarter than me, so I cannot do. Of course, I cannot say, right? And in the meeting, we had a very, very difficult, challenging discussion all the time. And we had to solve very difficult issues. And also, it was happening in English. So it was even more difficult for me, right? Even in Japanese, it was difficult, actually.
Right.
But in English, it's hard. It's much harder. So even though I had to say something, I was not confident saying, my opinion. So because my English was probably wrong, my opinion is also probably wrong. So I was very difficult time on saying my opinion at the time in the meeting. Actually, so a Japanese person who is not so good at English, but he can say anything in a very confident manner. And I kind of realized that if I speak slowly, I could do it. That's what I'm doing now.
Right.
So I try not to speak fast. I basically try to speak slowly, as slow as possible. And that was maybe my way of overcoming these kind of things. I realized that I am not native speaker.
Yes.
It's impossible for me to speak like a native speaker and perfect English, perfect grammar, perfect vocabulary. Sometimes my vocabulary is wrong, my grammar is wrong, but it doesn't matter. You understand what I am saying. Realizing these things is, I think, it was very, very important for me.
What inspired you to start ProGrit? And what is ProGrit?
First of all, so ProGrit is English coaching service. We call ourselves English coaching service, not an English schools, English service. And our English coaching service is basically designed for professionals and serious learners who want to learn English, regardless of their levels. So we basically don't teach English, but we have more comprehensive support. And the reason why I started this is because I wanted to do it. And regardless of money, that's, I think, the biggest reason I started this business. We want to change the situation in Japan about this English education. And if we could change situation here in Japan, we're going to have more Japanese people who are working and performing well in different countries. And that will change the world. That will change Japanese society. ProGrit is a word which is combination of pro and grit, right? And pro is like proceed, something like that. So like going forward. And also grit is, let's say like keep doing things, consistency. So I thought like consistency and like a grit is so important. Also talking about English, I think grit is very important. If you keep studying English, that will make you a great English speaker for sure. And that I thought like that is the most important things about English study.
What do you think it takes to become a good English speaker? And I know this is a loaded question. There's so many different ways to answer this, but from your experience, you personally learning English, you seeing all of your students who have become good English speakers, when it comes down to it, what does it really take to become a good English speaker?
Well, I think it's different. If you are in different countries, like let's say you're in the United States and you have a great environment, and also if you have to learn English in Japan, that's completely different things. So if you are in the United States, you have a great opportunity, great environment, so you can practice a lot. You can talk to people and make a lot of mistakes and learn from it. So I think that is the greatest way of learning English. But a lot of people are maybe in Japan, but they want to learn English, right? They want to be a good English speakers. In that case, I think self-study is so important. English conversation lesson is really, really important. But if you only do lessons, you never be able to become a great English speaker for sure. You have to memorize vocabulary. If you are not confident about grammar, you have to study grammar for sure. If you are not confident speaking English, you have to do a practice of speaking. by yourself, and you could definitely do it. Mm-hmm. And also, reading and listening is practice, like shadowing, dictation. There's so many practice that you can do. But without this kind of self-study, I would say it's almost impossible to become a good English speaker. So I think it's important to spend time studying English at home, and also you will have opportunity to take English lessons, and that this combination is so important.
I totally agree with you, and I always like to compare sports with learning English. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I grew up playing basketball. For me to become a good basketball player, I just can't go and start playing in games, and that's like just going out and speaking to people. Obviously, by me participating in real games, I will learn a lot of real skills that's needed in games. But by doing that, you also create bad habits, right? Because you don't really know the basics. So in order for you to really work on your basics and fundamentals, you have to go home and you have to practice, right? You have to practice dribbling. You have to practice shooting. And once you practice those things, you have to go and play in games. And that's kind of like what studying and I think speaking is studying is like the practicing part. You can't just practice all the time, because practice and real game situations are two completely different things, right? Same with baseball. You could go into the batting cage and hit balls all the time. You could become really good in the batting cages. But when you go on the field and you face a real pitcher, it's not like a batting cage. You got curveballs coming at you. You got balls coming out your head. You have to be able to adjust. And also that feeling of nervousness, right? That tense moment of meeting somebody and they're talking to you. You have to be able to get comfortable with these types of situations. And that's why I totally agree with you when you say self-study is really important, because just as much as it is important to speak to people, if you don't put in that practice and self-study on your own, you may get better, but you will plateau. You will stop at some point. And if you want to break that, that's where self-study definitely comes in.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree.
I get fired up, man. I love talking about things like this. How has learning English changed your life, Shogo?
That changed my life completely, for sure. Now I can talk with people from basically everywhere.
Yeah.
That is so amazing. That I can be kind to people. Mm. I don't have any negative feeling of different countries, because I can talk with people. And I realized that when I was in the United States, Korea and Japan is not so great relationship in terms of country-wise, right? Mm-hmm. But if you have friends from Korea, you don't have any negative feeling about Korea. But if you don't have any friends in Korea, you might have some negative feeling because the government is saying something like that.
100%
true. So this was really, really big for me.
And your world really becomes smaller like that too, right? Yeah, sure. So let's say, for example, you have a friend in Korea or you have a friend in Europe. When there is a disaster that strikes in that country, when something terrible happens in that country, when you watch it on the news, it's just like, oh, something tragic happened in another country. You don't really feel it personally.
Yeah.
But let's say you have a friend that you met that lives there. All of a sudden, it's not their problem anymore. It's also your problem. You get very worried. You want to make sure your friend is doing okay. And I think this is exactly what English does is now the world problem becomes your problem, right? When you have people who are living in that place where terrible things are happening, you try to start thinking, what can I do to help out? Mm-hmm. And I don't want to, kind of get into all this, but I really feel like that's how world peace, starts spreading. Is it really starts with being able to communicate with each other. And the great thing about English is that's the connector, right? That's the bridge that puts people together. Yeah.
Bridge. Yes.
It really is. I just want to know, for my viewers, let's say, for example, they're interested in ProGrit, maybe they're not really sure if it's for them yet, but, they want to get some more information. You guys have a free consultation service, right?
Yes, we do. So we provide a free consultation service for everybody. If you are interested, you can just sign up online. That's a 60 minutes and you can do it offline and online. First of all, we try to do some counseling and understand what is the goals and what is the needs. And also we do some tests to analyze what you are really good at or not good at. And then we create the best curriculum for you based on the analysis. So you can understand how you can study, what you can do for the next 3 months, regardless of if you sign up or not for the real session.
Wow. So you're telling me that in 1 hour, you get all of this analysis. And on top of that, you would even provide a curriculum for students to follow.
Yeah, we explain all of things.
For free.
For free.
Absolutely no money.
Absolutely no money. No freedom.
So you are really crazy. That crazy part, I think it's still in Japan, man. That's like something that people usually pay a lot of money for. I truly believe that every business is a reflection of the person who is running it. And you can just really see the kind of business it is by talking to the person. Shogo, I don't even have to take ProGrid. I already know that ProGrid is gonna work because I'm assuming this is the process you went through to become the speaker that you are today. And I feel like the students who are thinking about enrolling, a good role model is probably going to be looking at somebody like Shogo. Maybe I can become somebody like Shogo. And I think, one of your bigger goals is to continue to inspire people and to make these changes in Japan. So, man, continue to do the great work that you do. Keep on inspiring Japan, and let's not forget our passion. Let's keep having fun, and let's try to make a big change in Japan, Shogo.
Thank you very much. I am very honored to be here today and then talk to you on YouTube. That was so amazing opportunity for me.
All right, Shogo. Good luck with everything, man. And hopefully I'll see you again, maybe on my YouTube or my podcast.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me.